Also online at WRQK.com is the sign-up sheet for the Stansbury Cup, our golf outing. That going down July 24th. Raintree Golf and Event Center. Cannot wait to see you guys out there. It's been fun every year. We plan on having a ton of fun with you guys this year. We'll see you there July 24th. Get your team signed up right now. That at WRQK.com. You can also reach out to the studio using that text line at 330-450-7625. There's the microphone talkback button while you listen live on iHeartRadio. And there's also socials. The Stansbury Show is how you find me there. The studio is textable at 330-450-7625. That number can be called as well. And we got a big show planned for you guys today, including New Tour Tuesday coming up at 9 o'clock. I got new stuff from LL Cool J featuring Rick Ross and Fat Joe. This is Saturday Night Special. Three zero 7625. Also at 8 a.m., we'll take a look at Hard Knocks, a television series surrounding football teams. They're doing an in-season version, have been for a little while now. And this year, the in-season version of Hard Knocks will feature the entire AFC North. So the Browns will be part of that, Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens. I'm very interested to see the in-season version with the Steelers a little bit with Russell Wilson, and you got Justin Fields there now. What's going to be going on with their quarterback carousel? What's that going to be? I kind of feel like Russell's probably going to start the year. If he doesn't pan out, look for Justin to be in by week 6, week 7. That'll be interesting television. Joe Burrow and the injuries, is he going to be fine this year? Is he going to come back? Is he going to play all year? That will be interesting TV. Then when you get to the Browns, it's, okay, what kind of year is Deshaun Watson going to have? What kind of year is Nick Chubb going to have? What's going on with Amari? Is Jerry Jeudy turning his career around a little bit? It was a little underwhelming in Denver. Is that Jerry's responsibility, or was he in a bad situation? Now that you've given him some new scenery, will the production be different? And I'm interested to see all those things. So we'll get to Hard Knocks, that whole story. We'll do that coming up at 8 o'clock. Also, is America finally ready to start to do something to combat the mental health problems that are brought on by social media? You may have missed this yesterday, but the U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, I believe is his name, is calling on Congress to act now on social media. He says it's ruining children's mental health, it's wreaking havoc across the country, and it's time to do something about it. What their suggestion is, I'm not sure will work, but we will give you what that suggestion is. We will get to that story. We'll do that coming up at 7 a.m. this morning on The Stansberry Show.
If you leave, you'll miss this on The Stansberry Show.
Well, a community organization group is looking to overhaul Canton PD. I have what their suggestions to fix Canton PD are, and we'll run you through that list, and we'll do that here next on The Stansberry Show. Welcome back to The Stansberry Show. 8 a.m. We'll take a look at Hard Knocks covering the entire AFC North. Yeah, oh, interesting there. I wonder how the Browns are going to come off looking in that. This got shared yesterday by the repository online at their socials. And it's a story about the Greater Stark County Urban League is calling for a reimagined Canton Police Department after a few incidents. And so what are they looking for? Well, I have that here. It's about 8 different points, according to the repository. What would the reimagined Canton Police Department look like? We'll start here at the bottom and move our way towards the top. Respect for civil rights, including officers trained to respect and uphold citizen civil rights and active measures to eliminate racial profiling and ensure fair treatment for all community members. Okay. Number 7 was collaborative problem solving, where community members are included in the development and review of departmental policies and practices and restorative justice programs to be established to address minor offenses through community-based solutions rather than traditional punitive measures. Okay, so that sounds like we don't need to jail everybody. We can rehabilitate some of these people depending on the crime. That's what that sounds like to me. Technological and operational excellence, such as utilizing advanced technology for crime prevention, like that shot data, because people don't necessarily like that, but that's kind of what that sounds like to me. Data analysis and community engagement, and ensuring resources are allocated effectively to areas of great need with a focus on preventative measures rather than punitive actions. Again, that kind of sounds like to me what you want is cops rolling hard through neighborhoods. 5-0 rollers, right? That kind of sounds like that's what you want. That's what I think we need to. I don't think that's going to be perceived well. I think you're going to start hearing about, that's why we moved away from it once upon a time as a country, not even city, but as a country. We started to roll away from it because people started to talk about how you only see this in certain neighborhoods. So calling for that again, I think is like a little bit of an interesting point, and I can't wait to see what ends up going down there. Fair and just policies such as placing an officer's pay in escrow or requiring the officer to use vacation time when they are under investigation instead of placing the officer on paid administrative leave. Having strict and clear guidelines of the use of force that emphasize the sanctity of life and the importance of minimizing harm. Well, putting the pay in escrow would mean that you would get it if cleared of what the allegations are. A lot of people take issue with the fact that police are put on paid administrative leave while under investigation for wrongdoing. I've kind of never really taken an issue with it until you know for sure somebody did what they shouldn't be doing. Money's one of the most important things in the world. It's how people stay alive. It's how they pay their bills. It's how they feed their kids. Until we know for sure somebody did something that they weren't supposed to be doing, I don't know if I love that personally. They're also looking for a supportive internal culture that includes mental health support for officers and leadership that models integrity and ethical behavior and holds all officers to the highest conduct standard. Well, I think, having known many police officers in my life, mental health support for a cop, I think, is a good idea. I've heard stories. I've been on ride-alongs. I've been on things. Like I said, I've had close friends who have done this job. I have a close, I don't know if I can call him a close friend, but I have a pretty decent, closely friend here who was on the Canton Police Department. I've heard plenty of things. They see a lot. They go through a lot. A little mental health, evaluation there, I don't necessarily think is a bad idea. They're also looking for training and development, including programs focused on de-escalation techniques, which doesn't sound bad. De-escalating a situation would most likely be the best scenario. I don't think you can de-escalate every situation, but okay, we should be trying to do that more. Mental health crisis intervention and cultural competency. Ongoing training and best practices and prioritizing recruitment of officers who reflect the diversity of the community and demonstrate a commitment to public service and ethical behavior. All right. I can understand some of this too. I think you're going to run into a few snags of officers who reflect the diversity of the community because, again, I think the reputation the police have, and some of it is earned. Again, when I say that, I'm talking about the country, not necessarily our city. Some of that is earned. I think you're going to suffer, not suffer, I think you're going to struggle is the word I'm looking for there. Pulling from some community pools that you are talking about there because of the issues like that. Now, maybe if we revamp some of this, that problem takes care of itself down the road. That could. Okay, fair enough. They're also looking for transparency and accountability, including the mandatory use of body cameras, an independent review board with community representation to oversee investigations into police misconduct, and regular publication of detailed reports on police activities, use of force incidents, and departmental policies. Again, running you through what the Greater Stark County Urban League is calling for, a reimagined Camp BD. And these are the steps. These are the changes that it is. Number one here was community-centered policing. Now, again, that sounds to me like walking through the neighborhood. Cops used to walk beats a little bit, and they knew the names of the people sitting on the front steps of their homes, and I kind of like that. I do think community-centered policing would work. I do think more cops rolling around. You know how I feel. Well, we put up the security camera. Great, I'm laying there dead, and the guy with the mask is running away, and you don't know who it is because he was wearing a mask and he's on camera. Great. But if they see the cop car at that intersection, they're way less likely to shoot me. They see the cops, they think, I'm going to get caught. They see the camera, they think, I'm going to get away. That's how criminals think. But they're looking for community-centered policing where officers regularly engage with community members and groups through events and outreach programs to build relationships, understand community needs, and build a network of support for crime prevention. I think a lot of this sounds pretty good. Some of it will obviously get a little messy. Other cities have tried some of this and it's backfired a little, but I don't think that means it backfires everywhere. It's not about what they want to get done. It's about who will do it. And in certain situations, who will be doing it will be doing it right and it will go well. In other situations, it will not. But when you start talking about community-centered policing and understanding community needs and build a network of support for crime prevention, what I believe that's going to be is when the cops come in there and they start talking to people and they ask this question, what happened? Nobody can turn a blind eye anyway. You can't turn the blind eye and talk about how you don't know. Can't talk about how you're not going to help the cops, how you're not going to do this, how I'm not a rat, I'm not selling out, I'm not a snitch, snitches get stitches. You can't do that. If you want this revamp, and I understand it, then when it happens and the cops are looking for information to stop criminals, you have to give it to them, right? Otherwise, you can revamp all you want. But if we're not willing to go, it was that douchebag right there, I want him off my street, put the cuffs on him, put him in jail, then I don't know what else we're really going to get done after that. But when something goes down and the cops come into the neighborhood, you can't be tight-lipped and then turn around and go, well, I don't know, they never help them. You can text the studio at 330-450-7625. You can also get signed up for the Stansbury Cup, our golf outing on July 24th. You can do that at WRQK.com. Look forward to seeing you guys there at Raintree Golf and Event Center. Great course, can't wait. So the NBA Finals wrapped up last night with the Celtics beating the Dallas Mavericks, I believe 4-1 there, because sports are rigged, and so what the NBA wanted was a 5-game series. Okay. There's also another series going on. It continues tonight. This for the NHL. It's the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers are vying for the Stanley Cup, what some people will say is the best trophy in all of sports. It's an impressive-looking trophy, I would have to give it that. I'm not necessarily a diehard hockey fan. If I lived in a market that had it, I could get more involved in it. That's been true when I have lived other places. I will say, having said that, the Monsters for a minor league hockey team had a hell of a year, and they had some great games, man. Some of those were awesome, right? Now we have the Columbus Blue Jackets somewhat close. And I can tend to be a little bit of a Vegas Knights fan because I got family who lives there, right? And so I'm like, all right, gotta get into that. And the fam got swept up in it when they first got there. It was the first professional sport to hit Vegas. But a young woman, Oilers fan, I assume from Edmonton, went viral at an Oilers game. She had been drinking, she was wearing an Oilers jersey, and then she did what a lot of women will do when they are drinking and they're having fun and they're hanging out. She whipped out her boobs and showed everybody. This woman has gone, this is hit for the cycle now. And this is what I mean. The first day people saw her and she was topless at a hockey game, it was, oh my God, she's the most beautiful thing we've ever seen. It's like, guys, she's a decent looking woman. Like some of you haven't seen boobs in too long. And it's obvious by some of the comments online. Right? Like sometimes I deal with that with people I work with. And it's like, dude, you've been married 50 years and your wife hasn't let you seen it in 10. And so therefore you think every woman you see is the hottest woman alive. It's like, But the reverse is also true. I also saw so many guys talking about how she's ugly, she's a 2, she's a New York 2, she's this, she's that. It's like, well, there I think you've seen too much pornography. And you've seen too many women without their clothes on. You've seen too many women without their clothes on. And now all of a sudden, unless they look like, whatever porn star is your favorite, you think they're not good looking. Somewhere in the middle of those is what's right. She's a good looking person. She's not hot, not ugly. She's a decent looking person, which is what most people probably are. It's fine. She's attractive enough to where you'd want to hit on her if you saw her at a bar. You'd maybe ask her to go out to dinner. She's cute enough for that, for sure. Of course, the internet, because they saw boobs and dudes turned into 15-year-olds when they saw boobs, we had to search the internet over to find her. We got to make her famous. Make Oiler Girl famous. Can't you just look at a set of boobs and be thankful that you saw them and then leave the woman alone? That way other women won't be afraid to take off their clothes and show you their boobs. Like, this is part of this problem. So people hunted her down. Every show in the world was trying to get her. Every pod was trying to get her. Everybody's trying to upend this woman's life. You realize she has a job. She's got family. She's got all this stuff. Now, to her a little bit, it's like, honey, did you not know you were going to go viral in today's world a little bit? Like, did you not know that? Now, some people are so cynical they think that's why she did it. Maybe, but if that's why, I would think she'd be out there searching for more spotlight and going on some of these shows, and she hasn't been doing it. She took to social media to talk about the situation and talk about what it's like going viral, having shown your boobs while being a little drunk at a hockey game. And Edmonton Oiler Girl is what they're calling her, of course, right? Because nobody knew her name. She tells us her name. It is Kate. So this is Kate telling you exactly what happened.
Oilers girl. Actually, my name's Kate, but here we are. So I've thought long and hard about what
A Canadian accent, right?
Oilers girl. Actually, my name's Kate, but here we are. So I've thought long and hard about what I wanted to say to everybody. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm at one of my favorite places right now.
She's like standing underneath some bridge, I guess, where she lives. I you know what I mean? There's a lot of nature there. There's a lot of that, and I think she's just out. She's at one of her favorite places.
I'm here to do some thinking, we'll call it.
Smoke weed.
But I just wanted to say, you could be the most perfect, godly person. The most perfect, godly person in the world. You could save kittens from a river if they were drowning. Someone's still gonna hate you. So you know what?
Well, wait a minute. A little bit of what she's saying is true. No matter what you do, somebody's mad about it online. That is true. Hey, I donated a bunch of money. Oh, well, the money you make, it should have been $10,000 more, even though I've never donated a penny. You didn't donate enough, rich celebrity. She's right. No matter what you do online, somebody wants to tell you you didn't do it right. She's not wrong there. But why are we trying to make it sound like you saved kittens from drowning in a river when all you did was pull your shirt up? I'm not sure we should be trying to put both those things in the same arena.
At the end of the day, I got drunk and whipped my out at an Oilers game and they went viral. F you if you don't like it. Woo! Go Oilers!
So yeah, I mean that sounds like a woman who takes her clothes off at a sporting event.
Oilers girl. Actually, my name's Kate, but here we are. So it's been long and hard about what I wanted
She made it long and hard.
to say to everybody. Anybody who knows me knows that one of my favorite places right now.
Get high, man.
I'm here to do some thinking, we'll call it. But I just wanted to say, you could be the most perfect, godly f***ing person in the world. You could save kittens from a river if they were drowning. Someone's still gonna hate you. So you know what? At the end of the day, I got drunk and whipped my out at an Oilers game and they went viral. F*** you if you don't like it. Woo! Go Oilers!
Yes, go Oilers there. She's not wrong. People will hate you no matter what you do. And I did feel a little bad for her, man, because like I said, guys see a pair of boobs they've never seen before. They just turn into 13 years old, and they gotta like search the internet, find out everything about her, find out where she works. And now that she released this video, guys are now commenting to her, going, "Way to ruin it! You were the mystery girl, now you're the under the bridge girl." Psst, you're the dude looking to find just random boobs on the internet. Go to the bar Friday night and say hello to a woman, loser. I got new Def Leppard for you for New Tour Tuesday, that at 9 a.m. Also new Luke Combs, new LL Cool J part of that as well. You can let your votes be known at 330-450-7625. Easy to text the studio. You can do that all day long. So I ran across this yesterday, and I thought it was a little bit of an interesting idea. I'm not sure it's going to work, but we're finally starting to admit what I have known forever. Social media is not good for you. Ultimately, it's pretty bad. The American Psychological Association say teenagers now are spending nearly 5 hours a day on top platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. If you go back to a 2019 study, that association found that the proportion of young adults with suicidal thoughts or other suicide-related outcomes increased 47% from 2008 to 2017. I'm going to stop here and remind you about a documentary I watched, skyrocketed social media. I don't think that is, well, just happens. I think those two things are connected. I could be wrong. I believe they're connected. So they saw suicidal thoughts or suicide-related outcomes increase 47% between 2008 and 2017. That, of course, aligns with when social media skyrocketed for people inside that age group. Yeah, they go hand in hand. They do. There's no denying it anymore. It's not healthy. It's a tool, they say. Nah. Tools kind of sit in the toolbox until you need to use it. Social media screams, come use me. Your ex just posted this photo. Hey, turn those notifications on. Hey, now you can curtail that. You can shut the notifications off. I'm willing to bet the older you are, the more likely you are to be doing it. I would imagine, I could be wrong about what I'm about to say here, but because I'm going to speculate, but I'm going to imagine that the younger you are, the more you want noties on, right? I need my noties on. I need to know what people are doing. I need to know where they're telling me. Party at the Moon Tower, man. Everybody gonna be there, right? And now you need to do a Facebook post for that, or really a TikTok post. Although they say younger generations are now flooding back to Facebook. We'll see if that's true or not, but I've heard. They say this was all a problem before the pandemic triggered a year's worth of virtual isolation for young adults. And again, what a lot of people were saying, myself included, wait till you see the reduction in school wait till you see the problems and the test scores and all of this stuff that comes out over this year. Everybody called us all lunatics. Sure enough, it's all coming out. Yes, schools are terrible now. Kids forgot how to learn. Taking them out of school that year was awful. And it set a ton of students back. You know, I mean, I was public enemy number one. I was spreading misinformation. All the big hot button phrases people were in my messages about for that. Sure enough, now it's all like, yeah, that was kind of going down. Yeah, it's going down. For sure. In January, you remember, a Senate Judiciary Committee had a hearing about social media's impact on young people. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg apologized to parents who said the Meta platform, Instagram, contributed to their child's suicides, or exploitation. Now, some people are going to go, isn't this like Ozzy Osbourne contributing to suicide back in the 80s? I think it's different. I do. I think people just thought that the difference there is people thought that there was messaging in those records that was telling kids to shoot their parents. Play it backwards, man. It's like, well, nobody has to tell you, oh, we'll play the TikTok video backwards and it ruins your day. It's like, no, you're just watching it, right? And so I think those things are different. I understand why people reach to them. I don't think they're the same thing. Quote here, far too many children's social media use is compromising their sleep and valuable in-person time with family and friends. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Now, I've said one of the benefits about video games today is that you can stay in contact with your friends. Now, video games are not social media, but they both kind of do this, right? Where I've said, well, you can communicate with your friends while you're playing. It can be a collaborative experience. And so I actually thought that was a little bit of a benefit. And that can be true about social media too. It can be true. I don't think it's always going to shake out that. Some people are, I assume, thinking that I'm saying take social media off the planet. I'm not. It is a little bit of a personal accountability issue. It's not always the thing, it's how you're using the thing. Now, that is easy to say when I'm thinking about adults in my mind. I'm not sure 12-year-olds are going to be able to see it that way or work that problem out for themselves. When I was growing up, it was you don't even give a kid a cell phone. Now you're giving them the ability to talk to every stranger in the world by the time they turn 10 or 11 years old. I'm not sure that's what's best for them. As we continue to go on, we're going to start to see the first generations of kids who grew up without ever knowing a world without the cell phone in your hand. What will they be like? What will they act like? What will their problem-solving skills be like? Not to make this conversation any more muddier, but let's do this. I saw it yesterday. Google searches have destroyed your ability to remember anything. We're flooded with more information than ever, and people know less than ever because I can just type it in and get my answer. Memory used to be a skill humans would pride themselves on. Now everybody's memory has been destroyed because you no longer have to use it. I've said it to you differently. That I can go to the same places over and over and over again. Back in the day, I would just know how to get there after I went twice. Now I'll be going someplace I've been. Sometimes I'll have lunch in Akron. Right, I'll have to drive up there and meet somebody for lunch. And I don't spend as much time in Akron as I do here. But we'll go to the same 6 restaurants up there. So I've been to all those 20 times. And I think, every time I go, I'm 90% sure I know. But let's set the direction just in case I'm wrong. Oh yeah, I forgot about that street. I forgot about this. I forgot about that. Leaning on more technology is erasing our ability to use our brains in the way they were designed to be used. It's convenient, yes. It doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. This is my sexuality argument. Just because you desire something like food or sexuality doesn't mean it's healthy for you. It doesn't. As a matter of fact, most of the time when you desire something, you should probably be staying away from it, right? That's kind of how that works. This is going to be a huge problem. They say more research is needed to fully understand the impact of social media. And they are acknowledging that social media can help teenagers find community and connection and a place for self-expression. Yes, you can do that. But let's not pretend that that's always good. Can be good. Doesn't necessarily mean it will be good. And here's what I mean by that. I've said this forever about social media. They're telling you, they're selling my point for me. Let's just put it in the realm of flat earth. You remember back in the day before social media, anytime somebody mentioned flat earth, everybody else in the conversation whipped their head around, looked at them like they were morons, and that's the last time that person ever spoke. But see, now the flat earther goes online, they find the other 2 flat earthers, now there's 3 of them. Now before long, they get it moving, now they found that flat earth group. Now they're in your inbox every day telling you the video nobody wants you to see. Post date 10 years ago, it's still on YouTube, but they don't want you to see it, man. Now they're that. That's my problem with social media, is that people can go find their brothers and band together and then automatically then just assume that they are right about the thing because they're seeing large numbers of people agree with them. I think that can be bad. I also think it's a little worrisome that if I Google something, I get one response. If I use another search engine, I get completely different responses. I think that's a problem. Because everybody goes, it's right here, it's online, see, duh, right here, duh. And it's like, well, is that accurate? Because maybe not. Why are you mixing Google into social media? You don't think Google is social media? Why? Because you don't collect friends on Google? But like, it's the same thing. It's all, how about they're cousins, not enemies then? This is going to be a problem. So what are the solutions? What do we do to fix it? Well, the U.S. Surgeon General called for something yesterday to try to help fix this. I'm not sure it will, but we'll run you through their solution, and we'll do that next. Welcome back to the Stansbury Show. 8 a.m. we'll take a look around the AFC North because, well, Hard Knocks is going to be doing just that. So we'll get to that story. We'll do that today. What we had been talking about is the problems brought on by social media. It seems as if more and more people are starting to admit, yeah, we got a problem on our hands here. As again, they're saying adolescents spend more than 3 hours a day on social media. They're seeing an association with a doubling of risk of anxiety and depression symptoms there. We were talking about the suicidal, the suicidal thoughts and impact that it had. They say other suicide-related outcomes increased 47% from 2008 to 2017, while social media use among that age group had soared. I remember being in a radio studio, somebody coming in and saying, "Are you on Facebook?" And I said, "No." And it was like right before that, you still needed to have like a college email address, right? At first it was Harvard, and then it kind of like spread out, and then it was any college, and then after that they just took the college admission thing out, right? The college email address thing out, and then anybody could get a page. And I remember I was dating this woman who was just like not that far removed from college, and I was a little further so. And she was like, "Oh, they're letting all you normies," no, she didn't call us normies then, but she's like, "Oh, they're letting everybody have it now, it's gonna get ruined." And I thought she was crazy, but you fast forward all these years, it's like, nah, she was kind of right about that, right? She was kind of right about it. I also was in a radio studio in a commercial break once, and a PD burst through the door and said, "Hey man, this thing's brand new and I need you on it. It's called Twitter. Nobody has any idea how it works, but I need you on it." Right? Signed up and got it. And on that ball, wrote down that hill. You know? I believe where humans will look back, people always try to figure out, where does society go wrong, right? Where did the dam break? We all have our opinion on it, and I don't know that I'm right, but I have always said where I think one of the dam really is internet on the go. Being able to dial up in your office at your house and this and that was different. Being able to take it everywhere you go, leaning on it for every last thing, having all of your communication on it, I think is probably bad. And apparently, I'm not the only one. Apparently, the American Psychological Association agrees with me. As again, they're saying now kids are spending, they found the proportion of young adults with suicidal thoughts or suicide-related outcomes increased again, 47%. That sounds bad to me. And I think it probably sounds bad to you. So what do we do? We all know we have a problem. Few people have solutions. I don't think I have it. But the U.S. Surgeon General thinks that they might. The U.S. Surgeon General yesterday, Vivek Murthy, called on Congress to require a tobacco-style warning for visitors to social media platforms. In an op-ed that was published in the New York Times, Vivek Murthy said, "The mental health crisis amongst young people is an urgent problem, with social media being, quote, an important contributor." He said his vision of the warning would include language that would alert users to the potential mental health harms of the websites and apps. Quote, "A Surgeon General's warning label, which requires congressional action, would regularly remind parents and adolescents that social media has not been proved safe." Speaking on NBC's Today, Murthy said that he had spoken to thousands of parents in recent years and that their number was consistently social media use amongst children. Now, I would imagine in the 70s, it was like, my kids can't turn off their turntable. In the 80s, this Game Boy, right? And like, there's a little bit of that in all of this. There's a little reefer madness, parent fear in all of this stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that people who are fearful of it are wrong, because I don't believe they are. I believe what they are is early, not early on things a lot. I tell you, I think this is what's going to happen. I think I see this coming. This may be a problem. I look at remember 10 years ago telling you sooner or later people are going to tell you that the American flag and July 4th is racist. Sure enough, it was about 5 years after that. It was like, hey, look at this argument coming out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, man, you can see things coming down the road. Sometimes people ask me, how did you see this? It's not that I saw it. It's that my job requires me. I am me to look at her, the best of piece in my system here, 5-6 years, but you know what I mean. I don't know how you do it. It seems like kids are less interested in sports than ever. It's more anime now than football. I don't know how we're going to do that, but you're going to have to figure that out. But putting a box they have to click yes on before they get to it, have you ever read the fine print of any item you've ever bought ever? No. Scroll to the bottom, click yes to the terms, I want to use my thing. If that's what a 50-year-old is doing, imagine what a 15-year-old does. Sign up for the Stansbury Cup Bar Golf Outing on July 24th. Sign-up sheet available for you now at WRQK.com. We have been talking about social media. It's because the U.S. Surgeon General is calling for a Surgeon General's warning label. That, of course, requires congressional action, but Vivek Murthy, our U.S. Surgeon General, says it would remind parents and adolescents that social media has not been proved safe. I don't think kids are going to yield to a Surgeon General's warning at all. I don't think parents are going to care about that either. I think parents are very guilty of going, it's a problem for other people. My kids are smarter than most people's kids. It's fine. They can use it. I think that's what happens for a lot of people. And I think some people listening, your kids probably are using it responsibly, so you don't necessarily think it's a problem. Because I don't think every kid is going to face a problem over using social media, right? I think it can be a little bit of an issue. You know, parents used to really worry about what their kids saw on TV. Now what you can see on the internet, it's like people are like, they're going to see it at some point. It's like, I don't know if we should just be throwing up our hands. I said, I don't think a Surgeon General's warning is going to make a kid who wants to be on social media where his friends are go, oh, okay, well, now I'm not going to use it. I said, you're going to have to create other systems. I said, I don't know what you kids seem to be less involved in sports. Now, Matthew thinks he's on to why kids are playing less sports. Because I said, you know, these kids are more interested in anime than the NFL, and that's true. I saw, well, at least one study told us that. And he says, well, on the bright side, anime leads to less broken bones and old man knees later in life. My brother had both knees operated before he was 24 because of football. 48 now, and says even though he loved playing, the pain today isn't worth it. He regrets playing. He was amazing as well, got a full ride for football to college, broke several kicking records. Kids today just don't care about sports. They're learning pro sports just aren't as important and don't care to aspire to those lengths. Except old hat like Massillon, where all they have is defunct steel factories, football, and meth, coming from somebody who lived there for 12 years and his wife is from there. Yeah, he has a little bit of a negative opinion on our area. Like Matthew is one of these guys I know for sure. He's written in plenty of times. He doesn't like Stark County because it leans more conservative, so he kind of hates it because it leans more conservative. He's told me that plenty of times. Matthew, don't try to tell me you haven't. You have. You've told me plenty of times. So I think you just have like a little bit of a down look at Massillon as a whole, maybe even Stark County. I also don't think that your brother's story is why kids aren't entering sports. I think injury can be some of it, but I don't think a 15-year-old's going, I'm not playing football because I worry about having my knees operated on. I don't buy that. I don't. I think more and more kids are just willing to admit these days that they're not the kind of sports kind of kid. I wasn't necessarily that kid. My brother was. He was also older than me. So when I got to schools, his coaches were still there, like, oh, we got another Stansbury. You're going to be a great linebacker. Or this. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing anything else was there to do. There wasn't a lot of that. You know what I mean? And so I think the CTE, so you have to. So I think that is part of the conversation in the 80s. There were pudgy kids. I was one. There's a lot more of them today. A lot more. I think laziness is a bigger issue on why kids aren't entering sports as often as they were versus fear of having their knees operated on. I don't buy that. I think it's probably some of it, not enough. It's also not the only thing. You could be creating art. Less kids are playing guitar and in bands than ever before. Somebody asked why concerts are so different now. And a guy said this, and I thought he was crazy, but the more I think about it, he might be right. He goes, well, because the audiences are different. Back in the day, concerts were filled, in the audience, it was filled with people who played guitar or bass or sang in a band or musical ability in their body. So the crowds